What's up guys and welcome back to Media Man Dan. Today I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite movies of 2019, and that movie is Avengers Endgame. Avengers Endgame takes place right after the predecessor that had destroyed all of our hopes and dreams when it came to all of our favorite Marvel characters, and that movie was known as Avengers Infinity War, which is my favorite movie because it has such a great amount of depth talking about the motives of a villain who also seems very reasonable in his choices, and also sees our heroes in a point of desperation that we've never seen heroes before, or basically I have. This whole entire film takes place in order to explain what happens after we lost all of our favorite characters, especially like brand new characters that just came out, Black Panther, Spider-Man that just came out a couple years before, and how they were going to try to get them back. So the movie starts out immediately and shows us Hawkeye with his family, who was not affected at all during Infinity War. He's just showing his girl how to do the archery that he does, and all of a sudden he turns around and his family is now gone. They have been snapped away along with half of the rest of the universe, because that's what Thanos' promise was. Then we get into like Tony and Nebula just playing some finger football, Tony giving a last message with a beautiful, beautiful amount of deep music behind it, foreshadowing what was going to happen by the end of the film. We had no idea. We thought he was going to die right here. He was running low on oxygen, and so he told Pepper, like, I don't think we're going to make it. After that happened, Captain Marvel shows up as a basically ball of light, and just that spark of hope that we needed to have as an audience. We needed to have that sign that we're not going to just watch heroes die, because we're tired of thinking about that Spider-Man scene from Infinity War.
I don't feel so good.
You're all right.
I don't know what's happening. I don't know. I don't want to go. I don't want to go, sir. Please. Please, I don't want to go.
Then Captain Marvel brings all the team back together basically by bringing the ship back down. Tony immediately sees Pepper is still alive and is so absolutely grateful. I lost the kid. And we understand that that kid he's talking about is Peter Parker, and the fact that he was his mentor and his father figure, and he just wanted to do everything he could for him, and he failed. That moment of failure, it really resonates in his face. He understands that the issues that were taking place before in Infinity War were happening because Captain America was saying we need to understand more, we shouldn't be militarized or anything like that. And so now Tony is blaming Cap for the invasion that Thanos had in Infinity War, and it's just such a great way to continue that storyline. So we get up to the point where all the heroes are together, and Captain Marvel is now informed of everything that happened with Thanos, and she says, let's go and kill him. So they go and they actually kill him immediately, and as an audience we're just like, what? They just kill him like that? Damn! And he's just farming. He's a simple guy now. He's taking care of his own crops and stuff like that, so he doesn't actually have any fears anymore. So when you see him getting hurt, you're just like, oh, I feel bad. But then he explains that he's like, you should be thanking me. I corrected the universe. And it's like, oh, okay, he's the dick that he was in the last movie. So it's like, it's okay. And then Thor goes off with his head. So immediately, 5 years later, we see all the characters that are left behind are just in this utter state of depression. Not many people are happy. And then we have Scott Lang, Ant-Man, who is stuck in the quantum realm, and we see him finally escape from the quantum realm due to a very convenient rat that just happened to be on the little buttons. He gets out and now realizes that it's been 5 years and he has nobody left because Dr. Pym and Hope are no longer there. So he tries to figure out if his daughter is okay. He goes over to his old house, his daughter shows up, and they have this wonderful moment that I just really, really like, because it's got very little dialogue in it, and it's just that emotion that you feel from both of their facial expressions. You can tell that it's a father and daughter reuniting after so long. And it's just an amazing moment. Then Ant-Man shows up at the Avengers base because it's basically the only thing that he knew when things went wrong. He's like, oh, let me contact the Avengers because they're like the main heroes. So he goes there, and they think it's just like a old message, and they're like, is this from the past? He's like, no, that's right now. He's at the front door. And so he explains to them that in the quantum realm, there's something that took place where he had 5 years that had gone through in real life, but in his time, it was only 30 minutes. So he was trying to explain time travel. They ask Tony, they're like, Tony, what can we do to figure out how we can, like, you know, stop Thanos or go back in time and take back all the stones, or just figure out how to keep him from ever snapping people away, or maybe snap them back into existence. And it's just such a great moment of Tony saying, forget about it. Forget about it. Don't worry. You guys didn't need to come here and bother my family. He now has a daughter named Morgan, and his wife Pepper, she's being very motherly nowadays. And I loved that feeling. And as soon as he has the epiphany of how he can create time travel, he immediately goes to the team and he's like, guys, I figured it out. Even though they've been testing with Hulk, who had some amazing scenes of joking around being Professor Hulk, his giant self inside of clothes and stuff like that. He's very funny. There's a lot of good humor throughout this film, and I can go through all of that another time. If you guys wanted to have a full review, I can definitely do this. But I just wanted to summarize everything because it takes a while to talk about. So we go through all of these situations that take place. They have to get the whole team back together. Now you see that Thor's out of shape. He's depressed. Anytime that he hears the word Thanos, he gets upset. He's playing Fortnite. And there's just these jokes that continue throughout where it goes from like super somber tones with great music to super happy stuff with great music. It's just constantly musically driven. Like my favorite movie, Baby Driver, does that as well. But this movie it gives you that flashback of, you know exactly what scene it is when you hear the song. And that's what I really like about this film. So anyway, they figure out how time travel works. They decide that they need to go and get the stones. And so they all form together and try to say, okay guys, this is our mission. We need to make sure we get the stones. We bring them back here and we try to snap our friends back into existence. And so all of us as an audience were like, oh my gosh, this is going to be epic. And it was more than that. It was absolutely awesome. We got to see flashbacks from the original Avengers movie that came out in 2012. They show us a completely reimagined scene from the original in a different perspective altogether. We already have the knowledge of all the other MCU characters, so now we have Doctor Strange's sorceress up in the building, and now Hulk has to figure out how to explain to her that he needs to get the time stone so that they can go back and figure out how to change everything. And she explains how time travel should work, and he explains how time travel should work, and somehow he convinces her that he's correct. So it's pretty interesting. It actually makes him a little bit smarter than he was, definitely smarter than he was in Ragnarok. That was a very downfall point for Hulk, but now we get to see that he's back to that professor, back to that doctor that he originally was. Bruce Banner is such an important character when it comes to his knowledge and how he can help the team. So all the rest of these things are taking place. We're having just a montage of great scenes. We're watching the old Guardians take place. Like, we got to see Star-Lord again. And now we realize that if you go back in time, that means that someone's still alive, and that has to be Thanos. And so all these shenanigans take place where they're just trying to get the stones, and some things go right, some things go wrong, some things they have to go back into the past. And all these characters are having connections, and as an audience, we're connecting with them. We're having a nostalgia trip. We're just watching everything that we love about these characters come to life. All the characters that they weren't able to meet in their lives, let's say like Tony's dad, he gets to talk to his dad. These moments of just beautiful family relationships that should take place at the end of everything, and that's basically what this movie is. It's a culmination of everything that happened in the MCU altogether. So they get all the stones, they come back, and now they get the ability to use the snap in order to bring everybody back. And they have Hulk, who is basically the strongest, and he's like, I can handle it. And he does the snap, and at this moment, it was just a great moment. You get a buzzing phone. And then Hawkeye comes over to his phone and sees that it's his wife calling him. And so now that we know a snap actually worked. It was such a subtle moment. But at the same time, it seems that they were double-crossed. Because when they went back in time, they had Nebula from the present, and now when they came back to the present, they had Nebula from the past go and take place of Nebula in the future. And that was all explained because apparently they had like a big error where Nebula was just giving out all of the plot of what happens in Infinity War and all of their plans and all they're going through. They were basically on like a same network. And it was such an interesting idea to have that be the way that Thanos learns about it. Very convenient, but it's a superhero movie. Now Thanos destroys the base. You think everybody's going to die immediately. But then they all go out and they see Thanos just sitting there in the middle of the battlefield. So it's Tony and Cap and Thor, and they're all about to just kick Thanos' ass. And he's just doing extremely well. In 2014, he was just a murdering psychopath. He didn't have anything holding him back. And he's always been the strong guy that we got from Infinity War. So we see him without the stones just kicking their ass. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is so crazy. Like, how are they possibly going to get through this? Cap's chosen by Thor's hammer so he can actually fight against Thanos. He still gets his ass kicked. His shield starts breaking. You're like, oh my gosh, they're going to kill Cap. And we expected that to happen. Apparently in the comics they said that either Tony or Cap or both of them were supposed to die. And so we're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the end. And then right at that moment, Sam comes in on the headset and he's like, Cap, are you there? You there, Captain? And he's like, yeah. He's like, on your left. And now we get to see all of the heroes come through Doctor Strange's portal. He's coming back with all the rest of the heroes that we lost in the last movie and just showing that they're all alive and well. And we have this enormous battle between Thanos' army and all of the MCU basically at one time, and it's just an absolute incredible scene. We're just watching all of our favorite heroes. We're watching heroes that we really didn't care about, and we start caring about them because they're all on the same side. They're all fighting a mutual evil that they need to defeat in order to save everything and make sure that never happens again. Make sure they don't get snapped away. Make sure they don't lose anybody. It's just so well done. By the end of everything, Tony sacrifices his life to save everyone, and it's just such a moment. It's powerful, but at the same time it's so sad. And then they have the funeral scene where all these characters are there to give honor to Tony. It's just so good, and I love everything that this movie did to follow up with the despair and darkness that Thanos was performing in Infinity War. Like, having this be the end where they not only just defeat Thanos, but they also have all of these character arcs that are taking place. They carry on from storylines that were in the past. They finish off storylines that were supposed to, that like actually works together. And the fact that they were able to put it all together into one movie is absolutely incredible. It was an absolutely tremendous event when I got to see it last year. I give Avengers Endgame an A+. It is one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. I love watching it because it brings you back. Even just the music brings you back. When you hear a soundtrack, you're like, oh, I remember that scene. That's a good movie. Whether Martin Scorsese or any other directors say whether comic book movies are real movies or not, this movie and Infinity War together did exactly what they were supposed to in order for us as the audience, as fans, to feel for these characters, to see them come to life. That's what movies are about. Escaping, having fun, and feeling for the characters that you know and love. That's an incredible thing, and I'm so happy that they did it correctly. And salute to you, Russo brothers. You guys are absolutely awesome, and I can't wait to see what you come up with next. Thank you all for watching my review. I know it was a little bit long, but if you wanted to see the full review, let me know in the comments below. I will definitely give you a whole synopsis of what I love in each and every scene and how it affected me personally. Thank you all again for watching. A huge shout out to Electromagnetic. Electromagnetic is Paris. He's a rapper from the Midwest. Super cool dude. If you guys want to go check out his music, he's still creating singles almost every other week or so, and he's got some really cool production and a really cool rhyme scheme. If you really enjoy rap music or hip-hop music, maybe Kendrick Lamar, maybe Anderson .Paak, maybe some old school, You might like this guy a lot. I really enjoy his lyricism, and he's a great person with a great personality. Make his dreams come true. Go subscribe to his channel. Go follow his Instagram. And have an awesome day, everybody. Thank you for watching. Peace.